This exercise is a Katori Choli exercise. Katori Choli is a fitted choli. It has the side panel. The bust is being made as a cup. The cup is being divided into top cup and the bottom cup. And there will be a band below the umpire line to fit the cup in position. Now we are going to develop the pattern with the use of the basic 4 dots pattern. The back is same as the basic 4 dot pattern. We are tracing the front and we are going to do the manipulation of dots in this pattern. First trace all the outline like center front line, neck line, shoulder line, armhole line, waistline and side seam line. Our basic block has to be placed on your white sheet and the tracing has to be done. While tracing, the dot lines also be traced from the dot end to the dot leg. All dot legs has to be traced and mark the bust point too. After tracing with the tracing wheel, we should draw the outline again. The center front line. After tracing with the tracing wheel, we have to draw the lines all the dot line as waist dot, side seam dot, side line, armhole dot, then the center front dot. As drawn, the armhole as well as the neckline. To be drawn. Draw the shoulder line and draw the neckline. Now we trace the front. So this 4 dot pattern is going to be developed as a Katori Choli. The design feature, as I said, that it has the little deeper neck and a side panel continuously, and it been designed as top cup as well as the bottom cup. So the cup is going to be fit for the bust, which has the radius of bust radius. First we can mark the waistband. Mark 1.5 inch at the sides as well as the center front and draw the waistband and mark the neck width. Neck width is 1.5 inch away from the shoulder at neck and 4 inches down from the center front neck. So draw a curve for the neck. The neck depth can be decided, and neck width and the neck width and the neck drop can be decided according to the requirement of the neck shape. So we widen by 1.5 inch at the shoulder and drop by 3.5 inch to 4 inch and draw a perfect curve for the neck. It can be a round neck or a square neck or a sweetheart neck as per your wish. And we have to decide the starting point of the side panel. And mark the bust radius from the center front point. You must mark the bust radius plus quarter inch. That bust radius may be 3.5 inch, 3 by 4 inch should be marked from the bust point to all the dot level, that is to the side dot and to the armhole dot. Then draw a curve to connect the bust radius from the waist band line, and it has to reach to the neckline wherever you want. So, on the armpit line, and the side dot and the armhole dot should have the measurement of bust radius and connect the line from the waistband to the neckline. Now we are going to slash the pattern. Start to slash from the bottom of the center front and cut the center front line. And the bottom line. Bottom we are going to create as a waistband. It's not necessary to be truing or close the darts. So we will close later, but it has to be cut straight. And the side seam. The armhole has to be cut. The shoulder and the neck. Cut the waistband separately. 1.5 inch waistband has to be cut separate from the center front waist to the side. Now connect the center front dot and the side dot through the bust point. And bust notch has to be marked. And cut the neckline. Now the front is developed. We should write which is the center front and side seam in the waistband. The dot allowances remain there, but we can close it. Close the dot allowance. Now we are going to cut the dot intake at the side seam, and we are separating the undercup dot intake has to be eliminated. The side seam dot and the center front dot intake has to be eliminated. and write the detail of center front and side seam in the undercup. Now this is being divided into undercup. We separated the undercup. Yeah, now we are going to separate the top cup also by cutting on the curve. Then mark which is the center front, shoulder point, shoulder line, and side seam also. So this is going to set like this: the side panel, the top cup, and the undercup, and the waistband. Now the side panel can be extended up to the undercup. So we can cut the curve at the bust radius in the undercup piece, and it has to stick with the side panel. Stick it with the side panel. So the side panel is being extended till the umpire line. So the side panel, upper cup and under cup is ready. Now the dot of the waistband is being closed. And dot of the undercup is also be closed. Close it and put sellotape on it. The armhole dot should also be closed on the upper cup piece. See, we have closed all the dot intakes in the waistband, under cup, under top cup. The side panel armhole dot will also be closed. So we close all the dots. Now we are going to develop the production pattern. This panel has to be fixed into other white sheet by fixing it on the white sheet by truing the dots. Fix it by fixing with the sellotape. You should close the dot and true the line. You should paste all the panel into other sheets. The front has been divided into 4 components. We are separate the 4 component by closing the dots. Wherever the dot is being closed, it has to be true. Now we are going to develop the production pattern by fixing this ready pattern into other sheets, and we have to allow the seam allowance. It is very important to make the adjoining notches also. The bust notch is being considered as the adjoining notch for the top cup and the bottom cup. The notch of the dot can also be the reference notches to join the side seam and the top cup together. With the gap to draw the seam allowance, we have to place all 3 components into the other sheet and fix it with the fellow tape. You should draw the outline of the ready pattern. That will be the stitching line, and draw the armhole by truing the dot, trace shoulder, neckline, and allow seam allowance. And write the information about all 4 components, like the name of the pattern, size number, country name, and the cut number should be written for all the 3 panels. So the cup piece we should cut to, top cup and bottom cup has to cut to, and the side panel will also be cut to, and the waistband will also be cut to. But if you wanted to do the cup with the lining, you can take the cup piece of the top and the bottom cup can be 4 pieces. And specify the side seam on the center front or at wherever you want. The center front has to be specified in the component wherever it requires, because when you are matching, it should not tilt or shift from side to front bigger. More little, one of the pattern is being looking the side and the center as the same. So always it is well and good to give the information of the center front and center back and sides also, because when adjoining or joining it will be easy for you, that could be the reference to follow. And mark the grain line for all the components. Grain line is center parallel to the center front. Now we are allowing seam allowance of half an inch. Actually, it has to be less than half an inch. You can provide a half an inch also, but if you provide a very wide seam allowance, we have to clip while stitching. Otherwise, the position of seam allowance will make the garment to rotate if it is being wider. Otherwise, you have to clip it. Side seam will be with 1 inch and center front. If you have the opening at the center front should also be given with the seam allowance. If you wanted to keep the opening at the center back, all the top cup, bottom cup and the waistband should be on fold. So we marked fold on the center front, waistband and the top cup, bottom cup. So it's going to have the placket either at the side or at the back. Center front is not necessary to allow the seam allowance. Though we are going to make the test fits for the one half, the center front allowance is being given. You can give the center front allowance like 1 inch to make the fold or crease to stand stiff. Otherwise, it's not necessary to give the seam allowance on the fold line, because it's going to be a continuous one from the left side seam to right side seam. The shape of the seam allowance should also be as equal to the ready. Allow the seam allowance for that side panel also. Again for the side panel we are allowing seam, the shoulder, armhole, side seam will be 1 inch because it's going to carry the inlay. Side panel we have to straighten the line of the side because that's going to be the side seam line. Allow this armhole seam allowance as half an inch. The seam allowance has to be parallel to the curve. Side seam 1 inch is being left. And the the sleeve is also be developed along with the armhole. So first take a straight line from the shoulder and mark the sleeve length and draw a perpendicular line at that particular point. Mark the sleeve opening as the sleeve width and draw a curve from bottom of the sleeve to the side seam. Should have 1 to 1.5 an inch extra on the armpit. And allow the seam allowance at the side reaching it's starting from the side waist and it includes the arm also. It's going to be a like Magyar sleeve or like a kimono sleeve. It's a shoulder extension is being developed as a sleeve. And we should provide the hem allowance also. Allow seam and make the notch. Now the shoulder seam is to be added by half an inch and take a line as straight at the shoulder. This has been extension of sleeve also. So all the components been done for the front. The back is the same as the 4 dot choli, but we have to develop the sleeve pattern in that also. Now we have to trace the back, the ready line with the block of the back, 4 dot choli. Trace all the basic lines of waistline, side seam line, armhole line, shoulder line and neckline, and also draw the dots. Both the dot leg and the center line has to be drawn, and the dot line should also be drawn. And mark all the notches across back notch and the chest line notch. Then trace the lines by following the impression of the tracing wheel. As the same, we should draw the basic line of waistline, side seam line, armhole line, shoulder line, and the back neckline. Now we trace the pattern. The sleeve is to be extended as the front, and also the neckline has to be modified. Mark the neck width and the neck drop. The neck width can be marked at the mid of the shoulder, and the neck drop can be marked as per your wish. Can be 3 inches or 4 inches or 5 inches. The neck is been modified as a wider and little deeper neck. Draw the parallel line of 1 inch parallel to the waistline. Extend the shoulder as per the shoulder of the sleeve, as per the shoulder of the back as sleeve. So measure the sleeve length and mark the sleeve length at the back as the same, and draw a perpendicular line based on that line. And the sleeve opening should also be the same as front. So measure the sleeve opening and mark the same measurement at the back. As we given 1.5 inch extra at the armpit, we should also give the same measurement at the armpit of 1.5 inch and draw a curve. The curve should start from the sleeve end to the sideways line. Now we should allow the seam allowance. Being fitted garment, the armpit allowance can be decided. Front we extended 1.5 inch curve. The armhole of the back can be less than that. You should give a continuous proper curve at the underarm. Now we start to cut the back from sideline, side waist to the side seam and sleeve bottom, shoulder and the neckline. Cut the waistline and cut the waistband at the back parallel to the bottom line, and to create the band, write the center back and the component name as back, cut number, size, style number, etc. In the waistband, we close the gap and set the dot and write all the detail as the same as waistband, size, cut number and the same style number, and also should draw the green line. Now we are going to allow the seam allowance for the back and the band also. Place the back on another sheet and pin it. Use pin or tape to fix the pattern in position. You can fix the pattern with the pin or with the tape to avoid the slippage. Do the same thing for the band also. Fix the band on other sheet and paste the band piece with the tape. Now start to allow the seam allowance in the band, at the waistline and the top line as half-inch seam allowance. Under the waistline of the back also is half-inch seam allowance. And draw parallel line of half an inch to the waistline. Allow 1 inch seam allowance at side. Allow the hem allowance at the sleeve bottom. Narrow hem can be done with half an inch seam allowance. If you want the wider hem, you can allow as it is. It can be actually equal to the front sleeve hem. The back sleeve hem width and the front sleeve hem width should be same. Then only when you are doing it continuously, the hem width will remain same. And the next seam allowance should also be completed with the required seam allowance. And you have to decide the opening, either the front opening or the back opening. If it is a front opening, then the back center back should be on fold. If you have open at the back, then the front should be on fold and the back center back will be added with the seam allowance. In order to make the test fit also, the center back allowance can be given with 1 inch for the fold. And the side of the waistband should also be with 1 inch seam allowance as equal to the side of the back. And center back and the side seam will be the same value. Now we are going to trace all the component into the muslin or the other fabric to make the test fit. You know that tracing can be done with a different method, like the use of tracing wheel or with the use of yellow carbon. Now the students have the practice of tracing by seeing the lines through the fabric. If fabric is little transparent, then this will be possible to take the line and trace by keeping the fabric on the pattern itself. This is also one of the way to trace the pattern. So the waistband we traced, draw the basic line as well as the seam line, cutting line, and write the component name by following the grain line. The grain line should be parallel to the selvage, then only the fit will be proper. The war grain should fall towards the length of the body. Place the top fabric on the top cup and trace the top cup also. Likewise, all the component has to be traced with the seam allowance. The mark of center front, center back, bust point, everything has to be marked properly. Tracing of the other component. The top cup. And allow the seam allowance and write the detail. Front side panel should also be traced as the same. So all the line of stitching is been traced, then trace the seam allowance for all the sides, neckline, side seam line and waistline, and draw the grain line also. Draw the back, trace the back with all basic lines and allow the seam allowance and write all the details. The seam allowance of neck, shoulder, waistline are same and the side seam is different. The back waistband should also be traced. Finish the waistband, tracing of back and write the grain line and the center back and everything. Now we have to start cutting. Cut all the piece. On the cutting line, all the pieces to be separated. Though we are going to do the test fit of on the one side, we are cutting single piece of each to make the test fit better for off the body. You should be careful to cut on the cutting line only, not to cut on the stitching line. Now we have to assemble the garment, and we should arrange the component center front match together. First, pin the cup of top and the bottom by matching the center front line and the bust point. Pin point has to face towards down and have to follow the exact seam allowance while pinning the components. Pin carefully, not to make a pleat or a tuck. Clean finish has to be there. So the top cup and the bottom cup has been pinned to give a bust room, to get a bust room. Now we are pinning the waistband by matching the center front line at the bottom of the undercup. And we can also check the cup piece, the top cup and the bottom cup has to pin along with the side panel. Start with the actual point neckline of both and follow the seam allowance. Really. The side panel must be pinned with the top cup. The pin should face towards the down. And with the proper ease. When we are pinning in the curve, we should check with the ease also. We can't push or pull the fabric extra on one particular place. It should be evenly distributed without forming any gathers or pleats. It is also easy to mark the notches and have that notches as a reference for the adjoining. It's called as adjoint joints or notches also. We can put adjoining notch to join the curve lines. Next, we are pinning the waistband. Start either from the center front or from the side because we already checked the measurement. The waist measurement is equal to the waist of the bodies. Waistband is also be attached. Then take the back. Close the dart first. Attach the waistband at the back waist. and attach the side seam. On the shoulder. Shoulder should match exactly for the front and the back. Pin the shoulder at the back. The pin point should face towards the front. We pinned the entire katori choli. The front and the back is being assembled properly. The side seam is joined together, the proper pinning. Now we are checking the test fit. It's been pinned at the center front and center back. The fit of the back is perfect. It has the enough ease also, and it is also hugging the body, and the shoulder is being extended as a sleeve, can called as a kimono sleeve or a drop shoulder. Drop shoulder sleeve has a little bit of a ease at the front armhole because there is no armhole curve. So if there is an armhole curve, we can eliminate the ease in the front armhole. The fit at the front and the back and the side is perfect. It has a sufficient ease at the underarm also for the freedom of movement. If it doesn't have enough ease, then there will be a problem in lifting and doing our actions. We finished our test fit and katori choli. Thank you.